While their plans for action differ, there is a common thread amongst the 6 candidates running for student government president, which is making American University a better place in which to live and grow. During the student government debate, the candidates will discuss their goals for implementation and how they hope to improve the quality of the American University experience. Let's take a look at this year's candidates.
I think the 2 priorities that I'd have if I'm elected president would be making sure that AU is open to everyone and ensuring that we have a new foundation for student voice here on campus. I'd like to make sure that our money is being spent in our interests, and I want to make sure that everyone who qualifies to attend AU can attend AU, regardless of their socioeconomic status. I think it's unfair that time and time again we're told that we're adults, that we should take our academic career into our own hands, yet when it comes to the actual decision, we have no formal say. So what I'm proposing and what I'd urge the administration to do is to adopt what a lot of other universities have implemented, which is a university senate composed of students, staff, and faculty, so that we can finally have a say in decisions that affect our everyday lives, our quality of life here, and our academics. I'd like to see AU reach its goal of totally carbon neutral. It might not reach it in 5 years, but I'd like to see us well on our way to that goal. I'd like to see AU open to all students, applicants, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status. I want to make AU open for everyone. I'd like to see new ways for students to participate in the decisions here on campus. I'd like to see a more diverse campus, a more open campus, and a more tolerant campus. I think the student body should know that I've been active in student government for the last year, and I've seen the great accomplishments of our student body and the great potential of our student body. And the reason why I'm running for president is because that's the position that can really affect things here on campus. That's the position that can really implement the change that we need to improve our quality of life, raise our school's profile, and make the school open for everyone.
1 or 2 ways in which I hope to improve the campus. I think when you look at this, you have to look at student government as a whole. The current state of student government, in my opinion, is a joke. It's more like a middle school or high school student government than actually what a college student government should be. As student government president, there are 2 major things I will do to improve the school. 1, working with the DC Alliance and as well as community members, I will handle the noise ordinance issues. The fact of the matter is there are 6,000 undergraduate students at American University, and the community can complain all they want, but they're not going anywhere. In the next 10 years, the campus is expanding, and sure, the community has a ton of power, but in order to make a better community-neighborhood relationship with the people that go here, I will sit down with Mayor Gray, President Kerwin, student organizations, as well as community members. Because for there to be a better relationship going forward, the neighborhood as well as the students have to work together. Currently, the DC noise ordinance allows for anybody making noise after 10 p.m. to be arrested, jailed, or fined. That, in my opinion, violates the 8th Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment. This is unacceptable. There's 6,000 of us, 50,000 of us in the metro area, and we need to start throwing our weight around. American University tends to lack funding in many key organizations. My plan is to allow tobacco to be sold at the Eagle's Nest. I know this is easier said than done, and I know there are a lot of people that are against smoking, but this isn't pro-smoking at all. I don't smoke myself, but several of my roommates do. The fact of the matter is nicotine is addictive, and people are going to buy this at CVS or Rite Aid. Why not sell it at the Eagle's Nest and work with the comptroller in order to make sure those funds go towards student activities and student organizations to better fund American University? That way people aren't paying for it themselves. American University tends to harp on international service, which is great. I went abroad last semester myself to Rome, but there are so many poor and needy people just in the DC community that I feel American University has to expand and meet the needs of people, whether it's through community service or whether just using all of DC as an extended campus. Students should know several things about me. 1, I'm anti-establishment. I am not a crony like several of my other candidates. I'm not involved in any Greek organization. And also, I represent the students. Students can come to me for whatever issue they have. I will not deal with the administration or President Kerwin before I talk to students. Students come first. Let's not forget, we're paying $40,000 to $50,000 to go to American University, and we're being neglected. After all, we do keep the power on at this place.
I believe that it's too often that we exclude other major clubs and organizations because of either what we think is relevant or what other people think is relevant. But I think we need to make sure that we bring all student leaders to the table. For that reason, if elected, I want to create a student leadership council comprised of student government, residence hall association, the Greek councils, the AUCC, club sports, and any other student leader that wants to be a part of the discussion on issues that affect students the most. I also want to talk about how the student activity fee is funded. I currently sit on a task force for the reallocation of the student activity fee, and I want to ensure that every student is able to flourish and thrive as a member of a club and organization. Too often, Greeks are left out of the student activity fee equation entirely, and the AUCC often has to struggle to grant clubs and organizations, over 250 of them, the money that they desperately need to program and provide our students with the type of campus experience that matters. We will have East Campus, we will have a lot more students coming to this campus as we increase our enrollment, increase our diversity in that enrollment. I see the campus as being more diverse and more lively and attractive than ever before. Basically, I see this university and this student body progressing in a way that's never been seen before. We're going to have better student leaders and better success stories as a result of that. I am not the typical candidate. I am not the typical student here at American University. I'm first a student that has dedicated himself to ensuring that I get the most out of every class. I am a student leader who has been involved in not only student government, but the Residence Hall Association, Greek Life, and an AUCC-funded club, the Model United Nations Conference. I am a student that is diverse, that comes from a diverse background, comes from a place that is underrepresented at this university. I hail from Chattanooga, Tennessee, in which the South is not very well represented at this university, and I represent a minority of people that will bring a fresh face to the student government, one that hasn't been seen before.
I'm very passionate about student representation, and I want to make sure that I represent a diverse student body. I've been fortunate enough to go around campus meeting a lot of different clubs and organizations and holding cocoa, cookies, and candidate events in different dorm halls and just getting to know the campus community. And I really do believe that everyone has something unique and interesting to share. So I want to make sure that the students are a part of the process, because the best solutions do come from students. I'd like to see the campus more united, having a more of a stronger campus community, and making sure that everyone here feels at home, because since transferring here last semester, I felt so at home here just because of the support of the campus community, and I want to support that. I want to support the student activities and strengthen those existing ones and help those smaller clubs to expand, and because they offer so much for students, for their personal development and for students to find their home as well, because I found it through those kind of clubs that I'm involved in. And just getting more students more engaged, more involved, increasing service, increasing diversity representation, and I'm really passionate about sustainability, so I really do. AU does such a great job, their commitment and their progress to sustainability is just so great, so let's just keep on going with that. I'm a proud transfer student and a proud international student. I think I would bring a interesting and fresh perspective to student government. I was involved previously in my old college in Washington State, where I advocated for better student representation, creating more passionate feeling on campus. I know that's so broad, but I think that would be really great for everyone.
I'd say that one of the first major issues I'd like you to change American University is to beat Neil Kerwin in the SG President versus Neil Kerwin basketball game. I just learned from a close friend recently that the SG President apparently is supposed to play Neil Kerwin to pick a basketball game. Unfortunately, Bromstein didn't actually pull off a victory, which I can see why. I mean, Neil Kerwin's an imposing figure. He probably goes hard in the paint, probably has a nice crossover, good pull-up shot. But I think I'd make that a major platform. I mean, I'd be in the gym all the time, working on my jump shot, layups, blocking, and I really think I could bring some intensity to that issue. Now, another more serious issue that people may talk about is this campus's alcohol policy. I don't know if many of you know, but a letter was written to Barack Obama when he got in office. It was written by the president of Johns Hopkins University, signed by the president of Tufts, Duke, many other renowned institutions, saying there needs to be a serious conversation about the drinking age in this country, and specifically about the alcohol policy on universities' campuses. I think American University can join that conversation, especially with our position as the most politically active campus in the country and our close proximity to the halls of power in this country. There's making significant changes, I mean, with the planned expansions and kind of the branding of American University as the premier institution in the DC area. You know, usually people kind of have this, oh, you go to American, like that's not Georgetown stigma. And I think what's happening is we're putting ourselves out there in the conversation as the school to go to, not a school to go to in DC, but if you want to go into a school in the DC area for politics or any SPA, many of these great issues, public affairs, you go to American University. I'm a sophomore at American University. I'm in the School of International Service, and I love America.
I would like to make our voices be heard in the way AU spends their money, basically. When AU spends $5 million on the lawn campaign, I would like to be there to say, hey, maybe there's a better idea than the lawn campaign. Maybe there's something that we could do in a better way. Maybe there's there's an idea out there that seems to be more efficient than the ideas that the AU wants to, that AU is proposing. AUBookSwap.com is a good start. I'm also trying to run a shuttle down Mass Avenue and left after the synagogue on Macomb Street, straight through to Wisconsin where there's Giant, and then a left towards Tenleytown and back on Nebraska to campus. This shuttle would increase competition between all the housing companies in the area, breaking the monopoly that Avalon and the Berks have on the housing situation in this area. Student government has lacked in making huge effects on students. As a starting point, AUBookSwap.com is such a huge effect. It would make such a huge impact on all students, and it would save thousands of dollars for students all throughout their college careers. Books are very pricey, and we could stop the priciness. We could trade books between each other, and we could save a lot of money. I've worked on with 4 e-boards, executive boards for student-run clubs in the past year and a half at AU, and I know what to do. I know where to go when you want to find students. The way student government works is there's a specific amount of people that just hear about student government all the time. But then once you go a little further from the circle, you know that not many students know about student government. They barely know. All they know is that Nate Bronstein runs around with a cape. That's the only thing they know.
Voting will take place on the American University student portal beginning Tuesday at 9 a.m. and will close at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Reporting from the American University campus, Nicole Pulley, ATV News.